Jeffrey Tucker was I believe he was at the Prague conference, and he presented Bitcoin as gold. So he was making the case that Bitcoin was a store of value and digital gold. The situation in Bitcoin is the volatility. So when you have a collapse, and we've had 80% collapses over the years, everyone's assumptions just gets blown out the window. It doesn't matter what you think it is when you have an 80% collapse. And I think a lot of times during those 80% collapses, people's timelines get distorted. So if you have, like we saw the price go from $30 back to $1, and all the people who were talking about all the great things for Bitcoin coming in different places in the economy, suddenly you're thinking, well, maybe it's going to take longer than we thought. We thought this was going to happen in another few years. Maybe it's going to take 20 years. Okay, then Bitcoin, bam, there it is. It's up to 1,000. You're like, oh, this is great. We're going to build an entire future on this. Then crashes down to 200. And you're like, oh, well, maybe it's going to take another 10 or 15 years. Then zoom, it goes up to 20,000. And you're like, hey, we were right all along for these past 5 or 6 years. It's going to be a new future. And then crashes down to 3,800. Oh, now it's at 70,000. We were right. It's going to be a brand new future. Everything's going to be like we said it was going to be. Boom. Now down to 29, 28,000, 28,500. So, every time you have one of these moves, 50, 60, 70, 80% move, and then suddenly the price catapults and it jumps, oh, it's at 150, it's at 200,000. Oh, we were right all along. This is what's going to happen. So this is just, the volatility is incredible. In Bitcoin, perpetuating various scams to try to grab people's Bitcoin. How the Bitcoin 22 conference in Miami compared with other previous conferences. And I said the difference is that the suits are nicer, right? So these cycles of scammers have been with us since the beginning. Bitcoin has attracted scammers right from day one. And we went through a lot of different scams over the years. Remember the whole Dan Larimer period. He came up with 5 or 6 scams, big scams. And I can name others, the big cyclical and cyclical. And you see the market cap names change over the years. Bitcoin always stays at the top. And now we've got like these Wall Street types and VCs and hedge fund guys with nicer suits. They've gone down the Dan Larimer route. They've gone down the shitcoin route, and they get washed out. So this is a big washout. When the dollar was approaching its 50-year anniversary post 1971, you said you don't think it's going to see its 51st birthday, and in fact, it never did.
I said that. That's true.
And in February 24th of 2022, the dollar lost its world reserve currency status. We went to a multipolar world, and we transitioned from a financialization period that lasted, you could say 50 years, or you could say during the post 1980s, certainly with the Reagan-Thatcher period, and now we're in a period of commodification. So. Which started on February 24th of 2022. But you were right. You said it wouldn't last 51 years. It had made it to 50 years, and on February 24th it ended. So that prediction was spot on. That major cycle of dollarization and lower interest rates starting in the Reagan period, that all came crashing down in February 24th. That's just dead. It's
February 26th it actually happened. February 24th was the beginning of the war where Russia invaded Ukraine. That was one moment, but the United States had a choice, and that choice they made on February 26th, which was to demonetize U.S. Treasuries, to turn it into a UST instead, the UST shitcoin, a Terra UST shitcoin. That happened February 26th of 2022. So as Stacey Herbert predicted, the U.S. dollar did not last past its 50th birthday.
Yeah,
exactly. It did not hit 51.
That's right.
So that happened.
That happened. And that's a major cycle. And then the shitcoin cycle hit a major inflection point in the last month or so. It had been since 2017, and the ICO craze was the buildup of all the shitcoin heroes of the past 4 years, I would say. The names, we can get into them or not get into them, but the latest names in both shitcoinery and hedge funnery and media funnery had a big move, and now they've been kind of washed out, wiped out, decimated. Another cyclical. Those two cycles hit at the same time. de-dollarization and this fourth or fifth shitcoin cycle both hit simultaneously. Your habits are very bad because you're not really doing your due diligence. What the thing about Luna with Novogratz is that, which is kind of surprising, is that apparently they did no due diligence whatsoever. The number of people who were going out and just pinpointing in great detail the extent to which this thing was a scam, an obvious Ponzi, is huge. I mean, from the top analysts who do know what they're talking about, down to even some of the fellow scammers. I saw a few scammers out there saying, I'm a scammer, but this takes the cake. This is the scammiest scam of all.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.